Hello everyone, this is s17 of the Alliance for Loki, and today's war video is a little bit special. So we just had a really big war against NY718. They were number 3 and we were number 4 on the ratings, and we were going against each other. This is War 11, so the second to the last war of the season. And also while they were playing, number 1 and number 2 I believe were playing, which was ASR and Kenobi. And so all the top 4 teams were in action, which makes for a really exciting end of the season war. And so usually I just show you my wars, but my war is not particularly interesting. So here's my one difficult fight. It was against Arcus on the reverse control nodes. But compared to a lot of the fights in the war, this war in particular, there's some incredible matches going on. So our battle group BG3, we actually only gave up 1 death the entire war, and some really difficult fights. So I really want to showcase those today. My alliance mates have been nice enough to allow me to use their videos, and so I have a bunch of different fights from many different battle groups that we can look at today. And so just to start off with this fight, I mean, again, relatively straightforward. You know, Arcus is always a little bit annoying, especially on that on this node, because if you bring in Mysterio and Emma, you are going against the reverse controls. But he's hard because he will turn off your diamond form with his armor break. But managed to win, and that was that. So first up we have the ever-loving, ever-popular, I'll wait to the title screen, there it is, his bite is worse than his bark, Dreamin and his rank 3 Corvus. So most of these fights will take about 20 seconds. So here he is against Thor Ragnarok, and this is on the node that is the Aegis intercept. So you saw he did those intercepts right at the beginning, and now he can go and punish him. You can see right here coming up, Dreamin says it was a dropped input, but I don't know. I think it was just bad playing. So he goes to throw his special, and Thor blocks it. But again, this rank 3 Corvus is so out of control powerful that, look, he's doing 4,000 criticals into block. I mean, that's insane. So much power. And so, you know, this is actually a long fight for this one, just because of the Aegis. And before you know it, it is done in about 45 seconds. Now we have the fight, another Aegis one. This is Aegis Heavy. Corvus has a really nice heavy attack because he can do 3 hits. And so in almost no time, Havoc is down to his losses undestructible charges, and then once again it's time for a crazy big SP2, and then with a power burst you instantly get another SP2, and yep, this one's under 30 seconds. This one here is the fight against Darkhawk. This is on section 2, and once again this fight takes no time. And then finally we have Dreamin against Namor. This is the mini boss. I believe it's on the recovery node down on the very bottom of the boss tree. And this one takes a little bit longer. You know, it's a pretty stacked boss as always. And so, but once again, the power burst gives him so much power so quickly. And here, watch, Dreamin takes 10,700 damage. He swears the damage was somehow reflected. We're not quite sure how, but it doesn't matter. He's dead. Next we have the Summoner Showdown Champion, who is the champion for a reason, DT Melodic. So he's doing 2 of the mini-boss fights, and the first one's a Symbiote Supreme. And so this one gives a lot of people trouble. Of course he's Control, which always is difficult, and you know, you just have to, I know he has already the natural power gain along with the power gain from Control, and just have to be very careful in this fight. So of course the trick with magic is to get that second bar of power, and then you okay. Actually, sorry, this is on the unblockable one. It's not one of the mini bosses. And so yeah, you know, you sort of have to slow play. You have to wait for the unblockable to sort of wear off. You can see he gets it here, and it's a little bit sketchy just because he's trapped in the corner. But he throws his SP2. That way he pushes him away, and then, you know, now he has a little more space to work with. And so he's hit again, and now the unblockable is off. It has a cooldown, so this is a really difficult node. This is the middle path. I believe this is I think it's path 4. And now once again he goes unblockable, but he times it well, gets the power lock, so Control is no longer an issue. So so much going on in this fight. It really takes a master, a champion, to be able to deal with this fight. And so once you can start get the rhythm, the SB2, you're okay. And then there's really cool intercept. You know, he's great on those backdraft intercepts, which is how he won the championship. If you haven't seen it, go Google Summer Showdown, I guess final. It happened at New York Comic Con. It was amazing. And he gets the victory. So one of the new champions in the game is this Wolverine Weapon X, and so here's a fight with him again. I think this is right at the end of section 4, where he's on the unblockable, unstoppable node, I believe, and so DT goes in with Voodoo, and so Voodoo is an interesting choice. You know, he has a lot of power he gets, like debuffs, unblockable, all sorts of things from his abilities. Plus, then there's a node on top of this, so it's a really interesting fight. And so, I don't know if I would have chosen Dr. Voodoo. I'm not sure why he's such a good champion for this, but you know, you can see it's just really very slow, methodic gameplay, just keeping good spacing, you know, getting these poisons on, and then trying to just attack when you're safe to, not get trapped. I guess that's why you're using Dr. Voodoo. Look at this, 11 poisons on him. That's crazy. I guess all those nodes add up. I'm trying to think what nodes are. It looks like there's some not persistent charges, but like physical resistances, energy and resistances. Looks like he some power lock maybe. It's just so many nodes. And then but still playing him well. Just really working around the unstoppables, unblockables. You know, it's always sketchy against the wall, but he really deals with it well, doesn't panic, just dodges the attack, and then just continuing launching this crazy lead. But it's a really slow, methodical fight. I mean, compared to Dreamin's fight, where it's literally, you do a 10-hit combo and then double SB2 and it's over in 20 seconds. I mean, this is a long fight which requires a lot of concentration. And that's the thing about War. I mean, everyone has to play so well. I mean, these are strong champions on really beefed up nodes with some difficult buffs on them or difficult abilities, and yeah, it's incredible the skill that you need to take. It's also fun seeing the variety of characters. I mean, of course, it's not just like everyone's taking Corvus. I mean, we've seen Dr. Voodoo and Magic, and of course Corvus, and we'll see a whole lot of different characters in this video. So yeah, War. I mean, I understand why some people don't like it. It definitely is expensive because of items, and very stressful and time consuming because you have to move with your alliance. But I mean, as far as like challenging content where deaths matter so much, I mean, deaths don't matter nearly as much as any part of the game as this. It is cool, very cool for that. And so here he is, finally poisoned to death, and that's it. So then we have Steve. Steve is a player, I think he's in Battle Group 2, I can't remember. So these are two very classic fights. These are the first two fights on Path 4, Domino and Nick Fury. I might have reversed them, I can't remember. But very difficult. A lot of different champions are used to try to overcome them, but Steve's incredible with his Omega. And so the thing about Steve, which he's really good at, is he's really good at getting the poisons, not the poisons, what do you call those nodes? The deadly spores up. So you can see here, it's keeping her above 20, so he's just totally degenning from that. Even after he loses his death field, he's still, trying to keep them up as much as possible. And that's the key of being a good player with her, with Omega Red, is being able to manage the spores. And now he's just like using the spores to kill her, so it actually does very little damage. It's such an incredible style of play. It's basically just using the spores against the opponent, the defender, and then having them do almost all the work. This Nick Fury, again, is another one. I believe it's unblockable, and so it can be really complicated. If you're good at using Omega, again, it can work really well, but it all comes down to just being able to know how to manage your spores. And so look at this damage Nick Fury is taking. I mean, he's taking 2,000 because of the death field and the number of spores he has. So it's incredible. He's at 30 of the spores, and he basically keeps them there at 29. So now, even though you lost your death field, he's still taking plenty of damage. You're looking at over or around 2,000 just with 30. So he uses that to melt him down. But the thing about Nick Fury, which is so difficult, is he gets his second life, and then he's unblockable, and he's unstoppable because of the node, and it's just chaos. But keeping the spores up, just letting those do the work along with the natural degen. Things get dicey, he gets tagged. It's hard to dodge his special attack, but he's really committed to the spore technique. I guess he feels he's in the corner too much, so he goes ahead and throws the SP3. He's going to get some good healing from the 29 spores. He's going to back him up. He's going to get a lot of regen from that too, and so yeah, it's all helpful. But now he just has to work and get the openings he needs to finish him off, and he does. So again, really in control gameplay. Just you have to be really calm and be able to deal with these like tough situations, and that is what is required to get the victory. So he just waits until the unstoppable is off, and then he's in. So now we have Clonius Clown, and so he is, I always forget about battle group. So he's on the Aegis path here. So first he has Mordo. This is on the Aegis. I believe this is the Aegis Heavy. And who has the coolest heavy in the world? Well, that would be Dr. Doom. And so Dr. Doom has a slap, so he's just going to do some slapping. And so it's so nice because he gets the stun, and then he can slap him, and then he is slowly taking off those indestructible charges. Only little bit of a negative is that Doom only does one hit on his heavy, so you have to do a lot of slapping, but it's okay. The other really nice thing about Doom is he gets the power control. So even though Mortar was pushed to 3 bars of power, it's fine. You can SP3, let's go control his power. You can also use the SP1 as needed too, so Doom has plenty of power control in this fight, and that's why most people put Mordo here, is just to get his power control. And you see Doom is taking down his power. He does get an SP3, but again, you can fire your SP1. That didn't seem to do anything, but now he's just going after him, and yeah, it all works out. And so it's interesting the way he just fires away his special attacks. I would be honest, I'm not exactly sure of the strategy, but I think it's just a matter of trying to keep the power so it's like at an SP1 level, so you can keep on spamming your SP1. Obviously, he has Mystic Dispersion on because he's gaining huge chunks of power, which is really important in these fights. And yeah, just trying to do as much power control as possible. And yeah, I mean, again, all these fights difficult. They're all very, very technical. I mean, you really have to know how to play this character. You just can't go in there and hit. You have to manage their power, your power, and all these different aspects. So he eats an SP3, but again, Doom is pretty tanky, and so this node, it's not the end. So that was a good fight. Now he's going right up to the next fight. So you often see this placement. He had the power boost on for Mystic. And you can see the type of boost we use in war. I mean, it's full-on boost. Power boosts, the special class boost, the biggest boost you can buy, as far as the red, the gold, and the green boost. And so this fight is known also for its difficulty. And so this is the Aegis Intercept. The problem with Champion Nova is, 1, he gets an auto block on his intercept, and 2, he can parry you once he has enough of his sort of Nova charges. So you can see right there, it takes the hit, and so he auto blocked that intercept. So it's really hard to get an intercept on him, and he manages to get a couple now, and so now he has the indestructibles taken off. Now I can just start attacking him. I have this defender on my team, and it did get me a kill this war on this very same node. So you often see Champion Nova on this node, and yeah, he's just a mess to deal with. But Doom's gaining power like crazy. Again, he has, I'm not sure if he has the Mystic Dispersion on or not, but very powerful champion. And at this point in the fight, though, he's actually behind. I mean, he's taking a fair bit of damage, but he throws the SP3, gets the stun, is allowed to attack, and just sort of baiting out the heavies, it looks like, and then going into it. I can't remember if he's hard to parry or not, but now he gets another SP3. Again, the power gain from the boosts are really strong, and then on top of that, you get the 12% extra damage because of the boost too. So a lot of power the boosts give you, which is important in war. You need all those little edges you can get. And so once again, he's just slowly going down, throws his SP2, he just blocks it. I mean, Doom is really tanky, which is nice. Not only can he take hits, has high critical resistance, but he has really good block proficiency. So a really powerful champion and really useful. But you know, this fight it's intense. I mean, again, even with the best character, with all these boosts on, you can see how slow it's going. It's not a 10-second fight and it's over. And so then he's just spamming his SP3s basically, so trying to do as much damage as possible. He's fighting against the leader of NY718, so it's always good to go against the leader. Just blocking the specials, not really trying to dodge them. I mean, dodging is risky against complicated specials. I mean, as long as you can afford to block, you're better off. And a character like Dr. Doom, again, he can afford to block. He's really pretty solid, and so just special 3 after special 3, slowly get him down. Time is always a factor, but now I'm sure assassin range is kicking in, and that's it. So the last fight of Clonius is an interesting fight. So this is against Ebony Maw, and Ebony Maw can be very, very annoying, especially in war, just because he puts the falter on you. It's the same one. This is indestructible. I think I got my bosses confused here, but again, going on, or my nodes confused, but he has to take the 3 charges off of him, and you know, Ebony Maw is just tricky because again, you get the falter, and that makes trouble. But you see the way Captain America's shrugged off the falter. I assume that's because he has a science champion on him, so he's able to get rid of that at the cost of one of his charges. And so there it happened again. Now he doesn't have any more of the kinetic charges, so he has to be a little bit careful. But yeah, again, really slow playing this, not panicked at all, just doing as best he can. Gets the falter this time, can't shrug it off, and it's just, you know, really just deliberate play. And so, you know, it's getting a little bit scary here. So 2 minutes into the fight, he hasn't even gotten off the charge. There he finally gets it, and now he's ready to start actually doing some damage. And he's pretty close to the SP3, which of course is really strong for Captain America. You know, continues to block to build up those charges, has 5 charges now, and now he's going to start doing some big damage. And so he throws his SP2, but again, it's nice because you can just block it. Again, these champions that have good block proficiency, it's very good and more. Now SP3 time, and that almost does it. So he just has a little bit left. The tide has really turned in this war. And again, he's just still being careful. No sense to get out of control. Just play your game, and he does, and he wins it. So 3 really good fights by Clonius. Very interesting fights with the different characters. Now we have PWF57. So he's doing 1 mini boss. Again, we've often started seeing Claire in this boss. I believe this is the debuff immune. If I'm not mistaken, she's also a control character. So the problem with debuff immune is you can't turn off the control, and so he's going right in with a power boost. Oh, sorry, it's stun. Oh, it is immunity. So I mean, she is a tough node to play against. And so this really is the control wars. I mean, all these control champions have so much power on them, and you can see she's gaining power now from the control node, but he's just going right at it and not worrying about it. And it launches the SP3, and it does a lot of damage. And then this is the key, is of course with the Hood synergy, you're immune to the SP3. So even though Ghost in some ways is a terrible champion, she's also a great champion because she can deal with the power control in tanking the SP3, so it does 0 damage to her. And so now he's ready. He almost gains too much power though from all the boosts on. So it pushes past the SP2 and right to an SP3. Her SP3, surprisingly, compared to all of her attacks, does not hit that hard, but again, it's just a matter of being slow and careful in this fight. She throws her SP2, it's fine, she still has lots of power gain. No way you can turn him off since you can't parry, so you just have to really play around him. He sets himself up for another SP2, and that's it. So a great fight by PWF57. Now we have Strands, who has a picture of a duck on his. That's why. Oh, actually, he changed it. It was a duck. Now it's an old man. So he's going against this Wolverine 33. This Wolverine Weapon X, and same node, the one with the unstoppable and the unblockable, and brute force too. So so many things going on. It seems like a really nasty node. It is a really nasty node. And again, new character and a new style of playing him. So big boost time. You can see all these big boosts are on, and then even more so, we're going to put on the mutant big boost too. So, you know, this is the life of the war, is like big boost all the time. I mean, it gives you that advantage that you need, and then plus the gray boost as well. Just adding all the advantages that you can get. So, I'm not exactly sure why Domino is a choice here. Obviously, he had a good reason for choosing her, but that's the cool thing about wars. You know, a new character is coming to the game, Weapon X, and now all these different nodes, you know, trying to figure out the best way of fighting him. So apparently we have the Flaming Trinity synergy, because we're doing some big damages on these incinerates there. I don't know if he was trying to get one in ahead of time, but he got a big incinerate on. Doing lots of damage. Does the incinerate, which is great off the heavy, goes right into the SP3, and this is like a Corvus fight over almost like that. So yeah, Domino, crazily good damage dealer and still very valuable in war. So again, great thing about war is all the different characters that are being used and are still really good. So great fight for Strands. So now we have 2 fights of BManny, and these are on mini bosses. And so this is the mini boss right before the main boss, and so this is the power control one. And so he's going to go in with Quake on this. So this is great because Quake will not cause her to gain any power, and that's the big difficulty with this node, is all the power she can gain. It's always good to see some Quake style too. I mean, the wars have definitely become a lot of them Quake wars. I mean, I think all of us in my battle group have been using Quake when none of us have ever used it before, just because she's perfect for control, she's perfect for like all these nodes, like this one where if you don't hit them or get hit, I mean, basically it's almost all irrelevant. So Invisible Woman's not gaining any power, but you know, Quake is always long, requires a lot of concentration, requires a lot of precision. You know, she is not an easy character to play. It's funny, I thought he intentionally threw his heavy there just to get her away, but yeah, when talking to him online, he's like, no, I just missed. He thought she was going to do another attack, so he went to go do the dex. As soon as he took his finger off the heavy, a little bit dicey, because once you give her the heavy attack, you give her so much power because of the power gain node. Might be plus 200%, so a lot of power going on there. And then, you know, he's still playing pretty normal. And then same thing happens again. He accidentally throws a heavy, so now it's just time to try to do the attack. She has unblockable SP2, which he manages to dodge, and then everything's good again. But yeah, a little bit of nervousness for the battle there. And so once he quakes her down, he gets the victory, and it goes well. And the last fight is, of course, the boss of BG3, Lemontators, against the boss in War, Waffler. And so there's a Warlock on this. This is a control character. So again, where you always have to worry about the power gain. And so he's going in with Guillotine 2099. And the amazing thing about Guillotine is that she doesn't crit at all. So this node actually, this global node, doesn't affect her because all of her damage is done by just regular attacks and degenerations that she puts on when she would crit. So he's gotten her to the 100 combo bonus, and that's, you get that by killing an opponent with an SP3 in the previous fight, and that just ramps up her damage a lot like Star-Lord does. I don't think you activate any pre-fight. You can activate pre-fight to give you some abilities, but I guess it doesn't make a difference. Trying to see if he has lifesteal or not. It's hard to see. But it's going against this fight, and so, you know, this fight again is one of these like long fights where you just have to be really careful on, and you can't stun him, so best to try to get his SP3. Throws the SP2, you know, get some good power back from the power gain boost he has on. And again, it's trying to get the SP3 as much as possible. The big danger of this is, of course, timing out, because it's a long fight, or of course losing all your health, because you have to do a lot of blocking. Like here, there's nothing to do but block these attacks. And so Guillotine is pretty good, pretty tanky, but of course, you know, these boss fights, even hitting to your block, I mean, he's doing 1,000 points each block hit, so I mean, it's real damage, even if it's only into your block. And on top of that, if you actually were to get hit, it'd be over. So you have to play a long time, be very careful, can't afford to get hit at all. And yeah, just the concentration it takes in these fights is pretty intense. So this is the best case possible, is he gets this SP3 and an SP2, and it's easy to dodge, and then you can punish it. You can see, look at the degen damage is going crazy now. He's taking like 3,000 points a tick when she puts on the degen. All it has to do with the ramp over the combo. Go ahead and throws his SP3. You know, there's no reason to worry about holding it. A lot of times in earlier fights you'd hold it because you want to end the fight on the SP3 to get that 100 hit combo, but of course here, this is definitely the last fight of this, so it will not matter. But you can see again, look at those big extra numbers. I think maybe that's from the extra combo damage. I'm not quite sure, just because yeah, I have to read Guillotine again, but just doing a lot of damage. Now it's all of a sudden the tide has turned, you know, now Warlock's taking a lot of damage. Look at those big extra numbers, 4,000 from a hit. And yeah, he's going down pretty quick. 34 seconds left, you know, just have to keep your cool. Taters just has to make sure he finishes them off. Some big hits, so it's really, really scary. The adrenaline's nice because you get back those hits, and he does the SP2, and that's it. And so, Taters with the boss solo in BG3, so amazing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Lots of crazy fights, lots of amazing fights going on. And remember, like, the most impressive thing about Alliance War, it's 30 people all fighting, you know, together. So coordinating, working together, strategizing, figuring out what champs to bring in. And it's such an impressive just feat of gaming, to be honest. That is really, really cool. And yeah, I know, again, there's a lot of negatives to Alliance War, you know, the difficulty, the stress, the cost, but then there's also a lot of positive to it, and it's really a fun experience. And so, incredible war. We are now number 3 in the leaderboard. We have one more war. It's going to be a tough one. It's against ASR, so they're number 2. So we have one more huge war coming up, and yeah, then we'll see how we'll do for the season. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed all the great fights. Again, huge thanks to all my Alliance mates and for Loki for letting me use the fights, and hopefully we have another exciting victory to show you in a day. So this is s17 of the Alliance for Loki, wishing everyone a good day. Bye bye.